Alright, this video is going to cover the process used to add a sequence into a blueprint so that we can trigger the transforms of an object, whether it's through scale or just simply movement, rotation, that kind of thing. And given that everybody is fairly familiar with the sequencer, this is a really straightforward way to introduce some kind of movement in a blueprint um, fairly easily. There are other ways to do this, but I think this is kind of a fairly straightforward process. So in order to get started, just like before, I'm going to right click and go to Blueprint Class, choose Actor. We're going to call it Door, and open this up. And the first thing we want to do is go to the Add Component, and we want a box collision. And just like before, I'm going to take that blueprint, throw it in our scene, and position it so that it's more or less in front of the door and behind the door. So let's grab box and scale this guy, make it taller. This is obviously much easier when you're using two monitors. And we'll rotate that guy about 90 degrees. And don't mind my ridiculous cats making noise in the background. And so we want to make it a little wider like that, and that should work just fine. So we're going to hit compile. And now we have pretty much done all we need to do in the viewport. So we'll hop over to the event graph. And we have the box item here. So we'll right click, add event, add on component begin overlap. And we'll come back to that. And now what we need is to reference the sequence. So that's my blueprint, and if I go up to the level sequence that I created earlier, which is just called door, I'm going to drag that in to this blueprint, and you're going to see that it doesn't work. I go and nothing happens. So in order to reference a level sequence in a blueprint that is not the level blueprint, I know this will get confusing, what we need to do is actually go down to the variables, and we're going to create another variable like we did before, and we'll just call this door open. And with that, we're going to go to the top right corner and look for the variable type that we're interested in. So we're going to click on this, and we're going to type level sequence. And we want level sequence object reference. And so nothing happens, nothing obvious happens, except now we can see down here, please compile the blueprint. So we do that, and then all of a sudden this shows up, and we look for our sequence, which is door. So now we have a variable right here that references that sequence. So what I'm going to do is drag it into my my space here, let go, and I'm going to choose get door open, which is the name of that variable. So from here, I need to pull a wire, and I'm going to type play, and you're not going to see play like what you might expect. What you are going to see is create level sequence player. So I'm going to click on that, and this is going to give me the first execution, which is to actually create the player. So from this wire I can pull out, and this is where I'll type play sequence, and I want to choose play sequence player right there. So let's move this guy right there. And now what I can do is plug this into that point. And it kind of looks like, you know, you're done. If you hit compile, you get an error though. And so if you grab the target, make sure that you plug it in from that point. So basically, here's our reference to that sequence. We need to create a player. And then this reference needs to pass through so that it can be connected to the target on the play, on the actual execution of the play. So we're going to hit compile, and if everything is right, we're good. I'm going to delete these guys, hit compile, say OK, and then we're going to give this a test. So back in, and I'm going to land right there. There goes the door. Yay, I can walk through. Look at all the cool stuff. And then now, we have a conflict because the door happens to also be the gateway to the next level. So I gotta kind of hop through it. If I land right there in the middle, it takes me to that new level. So I need to go there. And then there. So it works pretty well. And then I'm still maintaining all the other behaviors of the other blueprints. So you can see I'm using the X button to play the video, and the trigger on my left controller is changing colors, and then the trigger on the right is turning that light on and off, and if I step in that zone, you can see my message. So that's it for this video. We've got the door working well, and I could have assigned that to a button, of course, but that's it.